I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Colin, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Here.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Here.
Councilperson Geisers?
Here.
Councilperson Clem? Councilperson Williams?
Here.
Councilperson Gully?
Here.
Councilperson Zilli?
Here.
We have the approval of minutes from the October 11th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any changes? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Communications, correspondence, announcements from the mayor. I have none. Clerk Treasurer, do you have a report?
No, not for this meeting.
We have reports from standing committees. We have no city officials here tonight, so we will move forward with unfinished. Diane, would you like to give a report? We'll see you next week. We do not have any unfinished business, so new business, Resolution 22-05, transfer resolution.
Debbie, could you read that for us, please?
Resolution 22-05, a resolution authorizing temporary interfund loans. Whereas the following temporary interfund loans are necessary for the purpose of maintaining cash operating balances in the funds herein named. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, that the clerk treasurer is hereby authorized to make the following temporary loans. Such loans to be secured by a pledge of revenues to be received which are not otherwise allocated and to be repaid on or before December 31st, 2022. From MVH restricted to MVH, $1 million. From local option income tax to MVH, $650,000. From local option income tax to sanitation, $500,000. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, this 25th day of October 2022. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Nina, is this just our standard, we're taking the money from restricted to cover what it can pay for out of MVH?
Yeah, it had to be paid back, but when we had to borrow it right back, the funds would be negative.
So I just had a quick question for Clerk Treasurer Rivas. Is there anything that can or could have been done to avoid making these temporary loans, or is this just a normal course of business?
For these funds, it's normal.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess I
Motion
would
carries.
add, hopefully that is, we were able to change that though, by
Right.
So under public hearing, we have the 2023 budget adoption.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to table the budget till November 1st.
Second.
We have motion and a second to table the budget to the November 1st meeting. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have the introduction and adoption of ordinances, second reading, ordinance 22-19.
I will go ahead and take that one. Ordinance number 22-19, an ordinance of City of Portage appropriating the proceeds of the general obligation bonds of 2022. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana has determined to issue bonds to provide for the cost of funding capital improvements to city-owned property, acquisition of capital equipment to serve the city, together with all necessary appurtenances. I practiced. Related improvements and equipment collectively project and the incidental expenses in connection therewith, and on account of the issuance of the general obligation bonds of 2022, which project is more specifically described on Exhibit A to the ordinance authorizing the bonds. Whereas a notice of a public hearing on the appropriation of the proceeds of the bonds in an amount not to exceed $5,800,000 to be issued for the purpose of procuring funds to be applied on the cost of the project. Let the record reflect this has been read in full. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just want to say that this is a good step forward and looking forward to seeing the benefits.
Nina, would you please do a roll call vote on that, please?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes?
Councilperson Pogorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishhurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Thank you. We have ordinance 22-20.
Debbie, could you read that one for us?
Before we jump into that, if I could, just
Okay.
real quick. So just to sort of clarify things, so as you're all aware, at the last meeting, you introduced this ordinance repealing the ordinance that created the non-reverting funds, park capital and operating. In looking into the statute on this, I determined that you can't suspend the rules to repeal an ordinance for park capital non-reverting. It requires two separate readings. So since both of those were in the same enabling ordinance, we're just going to treat that first as a first reading, and this will be your second reading. At that point, it'll become effective. And just so the council knows, myself and the mayor did go to the last park board meeting and then let them know of this meeting, A, and B, that this was happening, and that it was the council's comments and intention to reestablish the non-reverting funds after the first of the year, and this was really just a stop loss to fill some gap till the end of the year. They seemed to understand. There was a lot of discussion. I kind of expected them to show up tonight, actually. They said they were. So they're aware of this as well.
Ordinance 22-20, ordinance repealing ordinance number 91-25. Whereas the Portage Common Council adopted ordinance 91-25 on June 4th, 1991, and whereas the Common Council of the City of Portage has determined that the Park and Recreation Operating Fund is now insufficient to cover the appropriations in the 2022 budget. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage that ordinance 91-25 is repealed in its entirety, and all funds currently in the park non-reverting fund shall revert to the Park and Recreation Operating Fund. This ordinance shall become effective upon the date of passage and is retroactive to January 1, 2022. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, this 25th day of October 2022. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I do have a question for the clerk treasurer. Nina, we have $8,000 in that non-reverting fund that belongs to the Senior Advisory Committee. And that money was raised through our senior health fair, and it was paid by the vendors who attend the fair, and that's the money we use for the senior advisory for operating, and I need to be assured that that money is either put into a gift fund or is not used to pay bills for the park.
Yep, no, there's separate donation gift funds that we have.
Thank you, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Diane, do you have anything to say? If not, you know what? Do a roll call vote on that, please.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes?
Councilperson Pogorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geisthurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Okay. We have petitions, remonstrances, and public input. I believe, Dan, we do have an item that's not on this agenda,
We'll do that.
Oh, well, Norma probably printed this off earlier, Nina. It's the ratification of the street department contract.
Are we ready for that now?
We are ready, Attorney Witten.
So I'm going to really keep this brief, try to keep it under 45, maybe 50 minutes.
You have two.
So I did present this to the Board of Works earlier today. Since they approve all contracts, I went through all the contract terms with the Board of Works. I asked that their approval be contingent upon your approval because your wheelhouse is to oversee the money. So they did approve it unanimously, woo-hoo, and now it's before you for consideration, and just also as a housekeeping matter, the union side of it has already ratified it as well. So it wasn't quite unanimous, but very close. So for your purposes and for your oversight, you've all seen probably in Dropbox, but the things that are the money items, the things that I think would fall under your consideration and concern, we did slightly increase the uniform allowance just because Superintendent Reeder indicated that the cost of items have gone up. It wasn't much, but as you can see, boots are $250, pants are $100, hoodies are $100, and winter coat is $150. That's done through basically a voucher system. They turn in their old equipment, they get the voucher to go get the replacement equipment, and then they get their old boots back, probably because nobody wants them, except for the mayor did indicate she had an interest in them. So then we increased the shift differential for afternoon shift and midnight shift up from 30 cents an hour to 50 cents an hour. And then for the good stuff, we mirrored the utility contract increases. This is a 3-year contract effective retroactive to January 1st, 2022, running through and ending 12/31 of 24. So in the first year, 2022, the increase is $1.25 an hour. The second year, which would be 2023, it's a $1.65 an hour increase. And then for 2024, it is a $1.75 an hour increase. Now, that's the money stuff.
Attorney Whitten, was that $1.25 or $1.35 for the first year?
$1.25 an hour for the first year. Yep. And then I believe that to be all of the money items. The rest was contract language, clearing things up. We removed some things from the contract, put some things in, but really it's just how the department runs kind of thing.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the contract
I will second.
as negotiated by our attorney and others from the council.
We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I would like to thank, I'm sorry,
I
Doug, did
did.
you have something? Sir?
I had just a quick question for Clerk Treasurer Rivas. From a financial standpoint, is this a sustainable contract for the city?
There was a lot of discussion in budget sessions, budget meeting sessions, because of the equipment bond, because of wheel tax, and switching to the new old payroll system, we should be able to, provided, the superintendent, makes the employee, or has the employees clock in and out the proper way. If they're doing certain jobs, that it could be paid for out of certain funds. It just has to be, I have to be able to prove it to state board is all. So if that all goes well, then yes.
Thank you.
And I want to thank the attorney, Attorney Whitten, for, this was the last of the contracts. He can breathe a sigh of relief because we finally made it through in a timely fashion. And so thank you, and thank Superintendent Reeder and everybody that worked together as a team to get this contract ratified.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Yep, it was a long, strange trip, but we got there.
And thank you, Debbie, for being the council rep in those meetings.
Absolutely,
There were numerous ones.
absolutely.
We had fun, right? I don't know. What would we do?
You got one more to go. Not done yet.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any other public input, any other citizens? Hi, Reverend Mike, do you want to say something?
Do you want me to say something?
No, not really. Okay, if not, if there's no other matters to come before this council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying
Aye.
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 Aye.